The night it all began, the sky over my hometown was unusually clear. Not just clear in the weather forecast sense. It felt like the whole atmosphere had been polished, its dust swept aside, its clouds ironed flat, leaving the stars sharp and almost painfully bright. I remember tilting my head back as my boots crunched over the gravel path behind my workshop, half mesmerized, half uneasy, as if the universe was staring back at me. I'd been fixing old space freight stabilizers all day, boring, slow work, but the night had energy. Something was coming. I just didn't know it would fall out of the sky. A streak of white-blue fire slashed across the darkness. Not a meteor. I'd seen meteors, and this one zigzagged. It flickered like it was fighting for control. Then the sound hit, a crack like thunder being ripped in half. The ground trembled beneath me. The object slammed into the old forest ridge 2 kilometers away. Most people would have run for cover, called the authorities, or at least pretended they didn't hear anything so they could go on with their lives. But I wasn't most people. I grabbed my portable medkit, my flashlight, and jumped into my rover. I didn't know then that this single decision would entangle me in an interstellar war, introduce me to the most powerful woman alive, and threaten the future of every species in the known galaxy. All I knew was that something was dying out there. The rover bounced over fallen logs and broken earth as I fought my way through the forest. The smell of burning metal grew stronger, acrid and unfamiliar, like something far more advanced than human tech. Within minutes, I saw the glow, a pulsing white light, breathing like a wounded animal. The crash site was smaller than I expected. No huge starship, no fiery wreck. Instead, a thin, sleek pod lay embedded in the dirt, its hull cracked like a broken eggshell. Sparks sputtered from its vents. Strange, elegant symbols glowed faintly along its curved surface. I approached carefully. "Hello," I called. "Is anyone inside?" No answer. The pod door had been torn open from the inside. Something, or someone, had crawled out and dragged itself across the ground, leaving a smear of shimmering violet blood. I followed the trail. That was when I heard the weak gasp. She was slumped against a fallen tree, clutching her side. She looked human, mostly, but her skin had a soft luminescent glow, like moonlight trapped under the surface. Her hair was silver white, cascading past her shoulders. Her eyes were the most striking thing I had ever seen. Irises like molten gold swirling with constellations, as if the night sky lived inside them. She looked at me in fear, then in relief. "Please help me," she whispered. Her voice was melodic but strained, like crystal cracking. "I won't hurt you," I said gently, kneeling beside her. "I'm here to help." Her breathing was shallow. Her blood, the violet streaks, leaked steadily. I opened my medkit and scanned her with my portable analyzer. The device short-circuited immediately, overloading with a burst of static.
Great.
Completely incompatible biology. I had to improvise. I tore off my jacket, pressed it to her wound, and applied pressure. She cried out softly, but didn't fight me. "You came," she whispered. "What do you mean?" Her eyes fluttered. "The universe sent you." I didn't understand, but I didn't push. "Save your strength." I cleaned the wound carefully, using everything I had: sealant foam, coagulant gel, thermal patches. Her breathing slowly steadied. Her glowing skin dimmed slightly, but stabilized. When the bleeding stopped, she rested her head back and studied me with an expression that wasn't quite gratitude, something deeper, something ancient. "You risked yourself for a stranger," she said softly. "Few would." "Anyone would," I lied. She smiled faintly. "Not in my experience." I helped her to her feet. She was weak, but standing. "What's your name?" I asked. She hesitated. Lysera, she finally said. My name is Lysera. I offered my hand. I'm Cade. She touched my palm, and I felt something like a static shock, except instead of pain, warmth spread up my arm, like stepping into sunlight. Her eyes widened. You really don't know who I am. Should I? I asked. But before she could answer, something exploded behind us, a violent burst of red fire lighting up the trees. Lysera's face went pale. They found me. Who? She grabbed my wrist. Run. We sprinted through the forest as red beams of energy scorched the trees, cutting through trunks like they were made of paper. Heavy footsteps thundered behind us, armored pursuers, moving too fast to be human. My lungs burned, but Lysera pushed me onward. Even injured, she was faster than she looked. We ducked behind an outcropping of rocks as a blast detonated the ground where we'd just been standing. 3 figures stepped into view. Their armor was black and jagged, lit with pulsing crimson veins. Their helmets had elongated visors, like insect masks. They carried bladed rifles that hummed with lethal energy. Lysera's grip tightened on my arm. The Vorth Dominion, she whispered. Assassins. Assassins? For you? I asked. Yes. She met my eyes. Because I am not merely Lysera. She swallowed, fear flickering across her features. I am Lysera Valantris, sovereign queen of the Celestial Dominion, ruler of the core worlds, protector of the galactic spiral. I blinked. You're a queen? Not just a queen, she corrected. The queen. I stared at her, and she said the words that changed everything. And now they will kill you for helping me. We crouched low as the assassins scanned the area. Their weapons glowed brighter, emitters charging. What do they want? I whispered. Me dead, she said simply. So the throne will fall. So the galaxy will fracture. And you crash-landed here? My ship was sabotaged. I escaped in a pod, barely. How did they find you so fast? They always find me. Her voice broke. I am a beacon, tied to ancient tech no one else can wield. One assassin raised a scanner device. A red cone of light swept across the forest. Lysera grabbed my hand. Close your eyes. I did. A soft pulse of warmth swept through the air, her power, subtle but profound. The light passed over us and moved on. They can't detect us for the moment, she whispered. I exhaled shakily. She touched her wound and winced. But I can't cloak us for long. I'm too weak. I looked at her. She was trembling, pale, fighting pain. Without thinking, I slipped my arm under hers, supporting her weight. Then let's get somewhere safe. She nodded, exhaustion etched across her face. We moved slowly, silently, keeping to the shadows. The assassins fanned out, moving away from us for now. By the time we reached my rover, Lysera could barely stand. This is your vessel? She asked weakly. Unfortunately, yes, I said. She gave a tired, but amused smile. Primitive, but serviceable. I got her inside and powered up the engine. As we drove, she leaned her head against the window, breathing shallowly. You truly didn't recognize me, she murmured. I don't keep up with interstellar royalty, I said. She looked at me, her golden eyes soft. Perhaps that is why I feel safe with you. The words hit me harder than they should have. But any warmth between us vanished when another explosion lit up the night sky, dozens of red streaks descending. They've deployed more hunters, Lysera whispered in horror. They will burn your world to get to me. Not if we get somewhere they can't follow. She studied me. And where is that? I tightened my grip on the controls. The old mines. They have tunnels even drones can't navigate. She nodded weakly. Then go. The mines were a labyrinth of stone and darkness. Once inside, I killed the rover's lights and coasted into the shadows. Behind us, I heard the distant thrum of enemy engines. We weren't safe, but we had time. Lysera sagged in her seat. Her glow was fading. You're getting worse, I said. The cloak drained me, she whispered. I need energy. What kind? She looked at me with reluctance. The kind only I can receive, siphoned from a living mind. I stiffened. So you need me?
Yes.
A connection. A temporary one. It will not harm you. I hesitated. She placed her hand on my chest. Cade, if I die, your world dies with me. They will wipe this planet clean to erase all evidence. That did it.
Do it, I said.
She leaned forward and pressed her forehead gently against mine. A shock of warmth flowed through me, not painful, just overwhelming. Memories, feelings, impressions blurred at the edges of my perception. It felt like floating in starlight. When the connection ended, I gasped. Lysera pulled back, glowing brighter, eyes clearer. You gave me too much, she whispered. I'm fine, I said, though I was definitely not fine. You could have been hurt, or worse. But you're alive. She stared at me, something unspoken passing between us. Then she said, almost breathlessly, No one has ever done this for me. We moved deeper into the mine until the tunnels opened into an abandoned subterranean facility, one left over from old human expansion days. Rusted metal, cracked walls, flickering lights. But Lysera exhaled in relief. There is something here, she murmured, stepping forward. Something ancient. Ancient? This place is a few hundred years old at most. Human years. She raised her hand. But this place was built upon older ruins. She crouched and touched the stone floor. A pulse of golden energy rippled outward, revealing hidden lines and patterns beneath the surface, glowing pathways like veins in a sleeping giant. What is that? I whispered. An old nexus, she said. A place where I can call my guard. You have guards? Millions. And you didn't call them earlier? I was too weak. She stood tall now. But with your help, I can. She pressed her hands together. A sphere of white light formed between her palms, growing brighter. But before the process could complete, a metallic shriek echoed through the tunnel. Then another. Then many. The assassins had found us. Dozens of them emerged from the darkness, glowing red visors igniting one after another like eyes opening in a nightmare. Lysera cursed under her breath. They breached the Nexus shielding. Weapons hummed. Blades unfolded. Rifles crackled. Lysera stepped in front of me. Stay behind me. But I grabbed her arm.
No.
I won't let you fight alone. Her eyes widened. Cade, these are Vorth elites. I cannot guarantee. I don't need guarantees, I said. I need you alive. She stared at me for a long moment. Then she nodded. And the battle began. Lysera raised both arms. A wave of golden light blasted outward, knocking the first row of assassins off their feet. Their armor sparked and cracked under the force. But more poured in. One leapt with a blade aimed directly at her throat. I tackled the assassin from the side, slamming it into a metal pillar. Its weapon clattered to the ground. It hissed and swung at me, but I grabbed the hilt of its fallen blade and drove it into the gap of its armor. The assassin collapsed with a distorted metallic shriek. Lysera's voice rose behind me, chanting in a language I didn't recognize. Golden symbols spiraled around her hands, spinning like rotating star charts. Energy surged through the chamber. The assassins fired. Red beams sliced toward us. I dove in front of Lysera without thinking, but the beams never struck me. Instead, they dissolved into motes of light inches from my skin. Lysera's magic, or whatever it was, had wrapped around me.
"You are shielded," she said.
Use it. I didn't know how to use alien energy, but I knew how to survive. I charged forward, deflecting shots with my borrowed blade, drawing fire away from her. Every time I weakened, Lysera's voice strengthened me. Every time she faltered, I pushed harder. We fought like we'd known each other for years. But the assassins were endless. And we were only two. One of them landed a blow on Lysera, a blast that sent her crashing into a wall. Her cry tore through me. "You will not touch her," I roared. Something inside me snapped open. Golden light exploded from my chest, forming a blast that tore through the assassins like a tidal wave. Their armor shattered. Their weapons disintegrated. One by one they fell. When the light faded, the chamber was silent. I collapsed to my knees, panting. The glow around me dimmed and vanished. Lysera crawled to me, eyes wide in disbelief. "Cade, you accessed the Nexus. Humans aren't supposed to do that." I swallowed, dazed. "I don't even know what I did." She cupped my face. "You connected with ancient celestial energy itself. You shouldn't be alive." "Then why am I?" She smiled softly. "Because you were meant to be." The ground trembled. The air shimmered. Then, like a veil being lifted, a vast golden portal opened at the center of the chamber. Armored soldiers stepped out, tall, elegant, their armor white and gold, their presence overwhelming. The Celestial Royal Guard. Their commander kneeled immediately. "My queen, we came the moment we sensed your pulse." Lysera stood tall despite her exhaustion. "You are late. Our deepest apologies." The commander turned to me. "And you, the human who protected her. The one who channeled the Nexus." He placed his fist over his heart. "You have our eternal gratitude." I blinked. I just did what anyone would. "No," Lysera said, stepping beside me. "Only you would." The commander extended a crystalline device. "My queen, your throne awaits. We must return to the core worlds. The Dominion needs you." Lysera looked at him. Then she looked at me. Something in her expression flickered. Conflict, longing, something more. "I cannot leave without him," she said quietly. My heart nearly stopped. "Me? You saved my life twice," she said. "You protected me when you had no reason to. You saw me not as a queen, but as a person." She stepped closer, voice softer. "I want you by my side." The commander hesitated. Bringing a human to the core worlds is unprecedented. "It is my decree," Lysera said firmly. And that was that. She turned to me, golden eyes glowing with warmth. "Cade, will you come with me?" I took a breath. This woman, Queen of the Galaxy, wielder of ancient power, hunted by enemies older than human civilization, wanted me with her. My quiet life was gone. My world was no longer just Earth. Everything ahead was uncertain. But when I looked into Lysera's gaze, I knew my answer. "Yes," I said. "I'll go with you." Her smile lit the chamber brighter than the portal itself. She took my hand. Together, we stepped into the golden light, ending the true coronation when we emerged on the other side. I stood atop a balcony overlooking a vast cosmic empire, nebulae swirling like silk, starships drifting like silver birds, planets shining like jewels. Billions of subjects waited in reverent silence. Lysera stepped forward, radiant. "Cade," she said softly, "you saved my life. You restored my throne. And now the galaxy knows your name." I stared out at the impossible scale, the endless horizon of stars. And Lysera took my hand, not as a queen claiming a servant, but as an equal choosing a partner. With you, she whispered, I will reshape the galaxy. The crowd roared in thunderous approval as starlight bathed us both. And that was the moment I realized I hadn't just helped an injured stranger. I had stepped into destiny itself. The Queen of the Galaxy stood beside me, and the universe was ours.